This is the U.S. Pylon Nationals. Have it here every year, same time. We will be racing two different classes, Q500 and quarter midget 40. And we'll start off with Q500, which is the little bit slower class, about 160 miles an hour to 170, and the quarter midgets will go up to 190.
190 miles an hour looping around pylons.
Yep, with 3 other guys.
With 4 planes total.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, okay. It gets a little interesting.
Oh yes, yep. Especially here, you got some of the best guys in the nation are here, and especially when we go from qualifying rounds to the finals, it gets pretty dicey.
And we're just practicing today or qualifying?
Today is just practice. We'll start qualifying rounds tomorrow, and we'll have quickie finals on Thursday and quarter midget finals on Saturday.
Okay. And we've been talking about how people from all over the country are here to participate.
Yeah, there's actually some people from Venezuela and Mexico coming too.
So that's a pretty impressive little lineup of... Now these are all AMA members?
Yes, you must be an AMA member to fly at the facility to compete.
And tell me something a little bit about the planes. What makes them special, or what are the requirements to be able to fly pylons?
The Quickie 500s have to fall within a cross-section area minimum restrictions. There's a minimum weight restriction and minimum square inch restriction. You also have to have a minimum wing thickness. Most everybody here, I think there may be 1 or 2 guys, but everybody else is flying composite wing airplanes. Some of them are also flying composite fuses, but there are some wood fuses. And quarter midget, they're all composite, and they have to represent a full-scale aircraft that has competed or was built for competing in full-scale racing. Okay. And they have some other restrictions too, but mostly the weight and the same cross-section area stuff.
What are the judges looking for on this kind of a competition?
So we'll have a judge at each pylon, and you have to go around the pylon. And at pylon 1, they'll have a pickling system, which actually gives them an indication with a light to show them that they have reached the point so they could brake and make the turn. And a good caller, his job is to anticipate, to have his pilot turning as that light turns on. So you could tell that you need to shorten the distance if the light stays on for a longer period of time. And if the light doesn't come on because you went inside the pylon, it's a 1 lap infraction where you have to fly 11 laps. If you cut again at any of the pylons, you are disqualified from the heat and you get a 0.
So is this a team type of an effort?
Oh, very much so. The caller is just as important as the pilot here, because like I said, the understanding to the pylon 1 and you know, 20 feet past is also 20 feet coming back the other way, and you've gone 40 feet longer than the other guy. And not only that, the launch is very important. So you have to have somebody who can almost anticipate that start light too and get you a good hole shot out of the gate. So yeah, it's very, very important.
So your time begins at launch?
Yes.
Or when they say go?
Well, you have 60 seconds to fire, start up, needle your engine, get back and ready to stand to fly. And at 0, the flag is dropped and your plane will be launched. And most guys wait till about 45 to start because of fuel. We only have 6 ounces of fuel on board.
What's the secret to winning?
Like I said, the collar is very important, good equipment, and really good flying. I mean, now it's a buy and fly era now, so everybody has access to the same equipment. So it comes down to preparation and really good flying skills and a good team, pilot-caller team combination.
Is it important to find kind of an elevation and stay there?
Some guys, I'm one of the lower flyers. There is a rule that you're not allowed to fly below the pylons for 2 consistent laps. So I mean, the lower you are, the less turbulence there is. And that's my idea. And I try to stay as close to the pylons as I can. Some guys like to fly higher, but typically the guys who win, fly 15, 20 feet off the ground.
So you're down low, then you go up 1, and then you're down low for 2 more.
Oh no, I just try to stay right at the minimum, which is you have to stay above the 15-foot pole, so I try to stay consistent with that.
Okay. Sean, tell me what we're out here doing today.
We're flying RC Combat. The class that's going on here is Slow Survivable Combat. We call it SSC, 15 size motors, 17,500 RPM limits on them, and a 2.5 pound minimum weight. And what we're doing is basically dog fighting. This was a derivation of the scale combat that we used to fly, but these are called open airframes, just a wing, a fuselage, doesn't have to resemble a plane. But it's the same principle. You tie on a 30-foot streamer behind the plane and then try to get in position to take that streamer off. You get 100 points every time you take a streamer from a competitor, and you get as many as you can.
How do you cut a streamer?
How do you cut it? You get right in behind it with the wing and push right through it, pull it off, put a little sticky tape on the front of the wing there so it grabs it and pulls it a little bit better. The black streamer that we're using here is denim crepe, so it's real easy to cut. Humid days like this or rainy days, we go to forestry tape. It's a lot harder, and you'll actually see them pull the planes around as it comes through to make the cuts sometimes.
Now, is there any trick to survival in this thing?
Evasive flying. Okay. If you watch the main ball, we call it the fur ball out there, flying around, tumbling around through it. If you want to keep your plane together, stay out of that. Fly. You see a few guys that fly around the outside and come in and can pick a streamer off and pull it out. If you're a little low on skill, you fly right through the middle and pray.
Hope for the best. How many planes typically will go up at a time?
Depends on how many we have, but we like to try to keep the heat sizes no less than 5 and no more than 10. We've got about 20 guys flying a day in the different classes, so we're usually running about 7 up today in 2 heats. Years where we've had more people up here, we get into 3 heats or so at a time, and that's about it. Yeah, you got to plan on a lot of mid-airs. I'm flying 20 rounds this weekend. I brought 7 planes with me to fly those 20 rounds. I figure average life expectancy of a plane's 3 rounds.
I would imagine it looked like it was getting a little hairy up there that last round.
Yep. The later in the day it goes, people got to make up points. You'll have quite a point spread. A good round, maybe today 300-400 points a round. There's guys out there that can get 800-900 points a round, just depending on the weather. The sky's a little rough today. The darker skies make it a little harder to see, and it reflects in the scores. A bright sunny day, the scores will typically be up a couple hundred points per round.
So it's about being an offensive and defensive flyer.
You got to be able to do both. Your streamer, if you land with your streamer intact, you get 120 points for that. So you've got to be out beyond the attack, get the cuts, and then when there's no targets left, you have to run. You got to try to keep that away from everybody else, because at the end of the day, if they've got that 100 points, they're that may be the difference between you and them at the end of the day.
But you're not going to win by playing it safe and staying outside the fur ball.
Well, there's another technique that they employ now and then called launch and ditch. You get it out over the flight line at the start of combat and drop the plane in, and you get to keep your 120 points for your streamer and your round points. But it's not a way to win a round, but it's mostly in fun. The guys, someone has a bad engine run or whatever, you accuse them of having the launch and ditch philosophy of flying.
We've got more competition and racing coming up here at the AMA National Championship Tournaments, so stay with us and we'll be right back. Hillbilly Custom Game Calls, offering the finest and precision-made diaphragm mouth calls for wild turkey hunting. Each call is handmade and gauge stretched for exact tension each and every time. Select from double and triple reed calls like you've never heard before. We also have an assortment of handmade wood box calls, glass and slate top pot calls, and predator calls that will make us your source for all of your custom game call needs. Look for us online at www.hillbillygamecalls.com.
All natural beef, pork, and poultry raised right here in southern Indiana. Preferred Meats of Sellersburg is a full-service butcher shop providing quality meat products with no chemical preservatives or growth hormones. Our family-owned business raises and buys all of our products locally. We offer a full range of natural aged beef, gourmet burgers, homemade sausage, and a full line of Boar's Head Deli products. Located in the Hometown Plaza at the corner of Charleston Road and State Road 60.